Some desires live in the quietest layers of the human psyche, whispered rather than stated, felt rather than understood. Among these intimate desires is a preference that some women experience for condomless sex, a longing rooted in sensation, connection, biology, and emotional surrender. It is not universal, and it is never free from considerations of health, safety, and consent. But for those who feel it, the desire to receive a partner's semen inside them becomes an experience of rare intimacy that stays etched in memory. Hold on, before we unlock the real power of semen retention, hit that subscribe button and join our Telegram channel, link in description. We drop daily wisdom, success tools, and energy secrets only shared there. Don't watch from the sidelines, become part of the movement. In the modern world, where sexuality is often rushed, transactional, or filtered through screens and expectations, the depth of such a preference can reveal the emotional and physical dimensions of intimacy that many do not openly articulate. For many women, the absence of a barrier enhances the feeling of closeness in a way that cannot be duplicated. Skin meets skin, warmth meets warmth. And the act feels less like a mechanical exchange and more like a merging of bodies and breaths. The physical difference is not only in sensation but in the emotional energy behind it. Without latex, the body registers every movement with more clarity: the heat, the pressure, the texture, the rhythm. The moment feels more alive, unfiltered, and honest. The body is no longer separated by a thin layer that dulls sensation. Instead, it receives the partner directly, which can create an overwhelming sense of presence. Many women describe this as feeling real, raw, or fully connected, a sensation that leaves a lasting impression long after the moment has passed. Beyond the physical sensation lies the feeling of uninterrupted intimacy. The moment does not pause for preparation, negotiation, or adjustment. The flow of emotion and desire continues seamlessly, preserving the spontaneity and passion of the encounter. In a world where life is constantly fragmented by notifications, responsibilities, and mental noise, uninterrupted intimacy feels like a rare luxury. The ability to move from kiss to closeness without interruption deepens the emotional immersion, allowing both partners to remain anchored in the same moment of desire. For some women, this uninterrupted momentum heightens arousal and amplifies the emotional charge of the experience. The preference also carries a profound psychological dimension rooted in trust. Condomless intimacy requires openness, honesty, and vulnerability between partners. It requires conversations about sexual history, health, boundaries, and mutual responsibility. When two people arrive at that point with full awareness and consent, it can feel like a declaration of loyalty and emotional security. For many women, allowing semen into their body is an intimate act of trust that goes far beyond physical sensation. It symbolizes safety in the presence of another human being. It means believing that their partner cares for their well-being, respects them, and stands with them in responsibility. This emotional trust can create a powerful sense of bonding, making the experience feel sacred rather than casual. The emotional surrender involved in receiving a partner's climax inside can amplify this bond. In that moment, a woman may feel profoundly chosen, deeply connected, and wholly intertwined with her partner. The act feels less like two bodies interacting and more like two energies merging. For some, the sensation of warmth entering the body evokes a primal sense of closeness, a moment when physicality and emotion fuse in a way that is difficult to articulate yet impossible to forget. Even women who are not seeking pregnancy may feel a subconscious recognition of the reproductive symbolism in the act, which can heighten the emotional intensity of the moment. It triggers ancient instincts linked to connection, partnership, and the continuation of life. These feelings may not be consciously acknowledged, but they can influence the emotional weight of the experience. Modern research has explored the presence of mood-affecting compounds in semen, including oxytocin, serotonin, and melatonin. While the science is not definitive, some studies propose that these substances, when absorbed vaginally, may contribute subtly to feelings of calm, bonding, or emotional fulfillment. Even without relying on the biological explanation, many women describe a different kind of contentment and closeness after condomless intimacy, a feeling of warmth, satisfaction, or emotional grounding. Whether driven by hormones or the power of psychological intimacy, this emotional afterglow can be deeply cherished. There is also a powerful symbolic element tied to the act. For some women, receiving semen is not just a physical occurrence, but an emotional imprint. It represents total acceptance of the partner's deepest moment of vulnerability and pleasure. It symbolizes unity, mutual surrender, and the giving and receiving of trust. When the experience is shared between partners who genuinely care for one another, the emotional impact can be unforgettable. It becomes a memory marked by depth rather than superficial desire, turning into a sacred moment that stands out from the noise of everyday life. The act of receiving semen can also evoke a unique sense of closeness that extends beyond the sexual moment itself. Some women describe feeling physically connected afterward, sensing their partner's presence within their body. This lingering intimacy can feel grounding, comforting, or profoundly romantic. Especially in relationships defined by emotional depth. The moment becomes not just something that happened, but something that continues to live in the body and mind. Evolutionary psychology also suggests that there may be subconscious factors at play. Humans carry instincts shaped by thousands of years of reproductive behavior. Even in a world where women have full control over contraception and reproductive choices, some of these instincts remain embedded in the subconscious mind. When semen enters the body, the ancient parts of the brain may interpret it as a sign of partnership, protection, or unity. Again, this does not mean a woman consciously wants pregnancy or is defined by reproduction. Instead, it reflects deep-rooted instincts that can subtly influence emotional satisfaction and sense of connection. These instincts, when combined with modern emotional intelligence, create a complex interplay between biology and meaning that shapes the way the experience is perceived. In the context of modern relationships, where emotional disconnection is common and many people struggle to feel truly bonded, the depth of condomless intimacy becomes even more pronounced. Women in the current era often carry emotional fatigue pressures of career, social expectations, digital overload, and relationship uncertainty. A moment of raw human connection, free from barriers and filled with mutual trust, can feel like a breath of clarity in an overwhelming world. The experience is not just sexual, but deeply emotional, offering a rare moment of vulnerability and grounding that modern life often lacks. Alright, you've got this incredible energy, now don't let it dissipate. Before you click off, prove you were here. Smash that like button, and if you're serious about this journey, hit subscribe right now. This isn't just a channel, it's a movement. There is also an element of empowerment for some women. Choosing to engage in condomless intimacy when done responsibly can feel like an act of agency and emotional honesty. It is a decision rooted in confidence, communication, and shared responsibility rather than impulsivity. For some, receiving a partner's climax becomes an expression of sovereignty over their body and their desires. It is a conscious embrace of intimacy, pleasure, and emotional connection without shame or hesitation. In this sense, the experience becomes not only emotionally fulfilling but also liberating, reshaping their relationship with sexuality into something richer and more confident. Despite all these emotional and psychological layers, it is essential to acknowledge that this preference is not universal. Many women prefer condoms for safety, comfort, or personal reasons, and their experiences are equally valid. The desire for condomless intimacy is deeply personal and shaped by individual psychology, trust, dynamics, and emotional needs. What matters most is that such an experience occurs with full consent, mutual understanding, and careful health considerations. Trust and vulnerability should always exist alongside responsibility. When the emotional, physical, and psychological dimensions align, when trust is mutual, safety is ensured, and desire is shared, the experience of condomless intimacy can become one of the most powerful expressions of connection between partners. It leaves a mark not only on the body, but on the memory. For many women, the warmth, the closeness, the feeling of being fully connected, and the emotional surrender involved in receiving their partner's essence becomes a priceless, unforgettable moment. It is not merely the physical act that lingers, but the emotional truth behind it. The trust, the merging, the vulnerability, and the silent exchange of love and desire. If this video gave you real value, tap the thanks button. Your support helps me keep creating deeper content like this. Every thanks is a spark that keeps this mission alive. Your support means more than you know. In a world where so many interactions feel fleeting or disconnected, the depth of such intimacy becomes a kind of emotional treasure. It becomes a memory that surfaces in quiet moments, a reminder of what it feels like to be fully present with another person. It is a moment that, when shared with the right partner, carries a kind of emotional resonance that echoes long after the physical closeness fades. For some women, this experience becomes a cherished chapter in their story of love, trust, and desire, an unforgettable moment where emotional and physical intimacy meet without barriers.